Don't need a king.
We found the courage to talk. Have you?
Standing next to me, ready to fight. I appreciate the notion, but don't get so emotional. Honestly, it's getting old.
Hello everyone,
Hi.
and welcome to
Courage to talk.
Linda. It's been a great weekend.
It's been good, absolutely. You know, with the church service, you're absolutely right.
There's a lot of new things going on, and we can't wait to talk about that.
Such a wonderful blessing.
Yes, we are all blessed. With that said, Linda, do you want to start with a quote?
I do.
And quote me.
Okay, let's get started. All right, so don't put me in a position where I show you how heartless I can be. You'll never look at me the same way again.
This is a quote. I always say our energy is not worth spending on getting tied up in certain arguments, and it's just not necessary. But we do have people that we encounter through our lives where you set barriers with them and you set certain limits for yourself of what you can and cannot tolerate. But even when those limits are enforced and people still take that for granted and push those limits, that's where that other side of the Queen for Courage logo comes out.
The lioness?
The lioness. And it's that side of me, which I think for most people, it's that side where you are afraid of that, where you lose control of stopping yourself. And don't make me lose control, because you will never look at me the same way again. We all have limits. So trying not to allow other people to get you over those limits is a decent thing to do. But like we always say, and we know, not everything is within your control. The only person you can control is yourself. So a fair warning when you get to that place in life is just that. It's a fair warning. Don't get me to that place. You'll never look at me the same way.
Well, factually true. Pushing, nudging.
Yeah. Set those limits. Keep those limits. And we have a subject to talk about today where a lot of heartless things going on.
Yeah, that come to mind, going back and looking at everything that has happened since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, shot, yeah. There's been many of thoughts, many ideas, many conspiracy theories going on. But on a factual basis, we got to look at the facts here.
We gotta look at the facts.
And a lot of that information the FBI has. And we're trying to make sure that we are on that path of factualness and making sure we got the correct information before we share it. So we've dug deep and done some research, and we found some interesting information from the FBI. So we can share that information and go from there.
Let's share that.
A 3-part Providence Falls special event.
Liam O'Connor, we're offering you a chance for redemption.
We received 16,000 submissions to our digital media enterprise and tip lines. That is a large number of material to go through.
16,000.
16,000. Yep.
FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed the agency is investigating theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Patel said the probe is thorough and exhaustive, examining every detail of the Utah Valley University shooting. He said that authorities are looking into whether Tyler Robinson, the suspect, may have had an accomplice in the killing. The FBI is also reviewing videos showing a man making hand gestures near Kirk at the time of the attack. Patel described these gestures as potential signals, similar to baseball coaches signaling players during a game. Flight data gaps near the site of Kirk's death sparked speculation, but Patel explained the gaps were due to rural coverage. No other arrests have been made, and Robinson surrendered after being recognized by family members. Patel's statement comes amid swirling conspiracy theories on social media, blaming both political sides for Kirk's death. The investigate...
Now, Linda, I want to talk about this because I have quite a few problems with that.
Yeah, I think.
So my problem with that, as you know, from the very start, having such a sophisticated weapon that can shoot at a distance like that with a kill shot. It's a kill shot. I mean, that's pretty professional. When you're talking about a 22-year-old child, young adult, as they call them, obviously not very mature, going through a transition of not even knowing who he is in life, whether he's a furry baby, and I'm not making light of this, whether he's a furry baby and playing in chat rooms with other furry babies, or he's a homosexual man, or he's a straight man, if he is that person that grew up in a whole family with a mother, a father in law enforcement, a mother in healthcare, or he is a part of the group of the people that don't even know how to identify. That's confusing in itself. I don't think that kind of mind is ready to and able to take that kind of shot, professional kind of shot. That takes a lot of training from what I understand.
I agree with you. And you and I was talking early on about this, and one of the first statements you made that I remembered was that he was so young, did he have the expertise to actually pull this off? He had to have some handlers or some help and the money, follow the money trail, you know, to put such a sophisticated process together to do what he did. But I'm going to tell you, you know, being in law enforcement as long as I have, I was certified by the state of Florida as a firearms instructor. And we had to go through every single type of weapon to be able to shoot it, to be able to clean it, to dismantle it. And that's no easy feat. 5 years I was a law enforcement instructor. And even being proficient with that long gun, which is a sniper type gun, which is a rifle, it takes some expertise.
Linda, in your experience of teaching people to shoot all kinds of weapons, as an instructor in a police department, that's not just general, you know, shooting range. From your experience, how long does it take, and what kind of person should you have firing that arm to be that precise?
Well, you know, it's going to take a person, number one, that's committed to, you know, the firearms, somebody who has a passion for it, number one. Secondly, the training. You know, 5 years of training just to be as proficient as I was. It took a lot. I went to the Rogers Shooting School, which is in Deep, Georgia, where FBI goes a lot of times. I've been to the Palm Beach County Training Facility. I mean, 5 years, hands down, to be as proficient with a long gun. We call them long gun, which is a sniper type gun, a rifle, you know, or that type. 5 years at least.
Let's do the math. And I'm going back to his history. A young man that is very confused in what, who, and where he is in life.
Yeah.
That spends most of his time on these websites of furry babies, living in these world of illusions, talking to these people. How serious 5 years of training? Now let's take that off, 17 years old.
I don't see it either. I agree with you. And that's why when you first brought
Even
that
that
up,
doesn't count.
yeah, when you brought that up to me, I'm like, wow, that means he would have started at 17.
Yeah.
But he's been cuddling and holding fur and engaged in that kind of behavior. I can't see him like a regimented shooter or an expert shooter. I just can't see it.
And then there's a lot of conspiracy theories and everything. And mind you, I don't think there is such thing as conspiracy theories, because if there's conspiracy and there are theories, that stems from the truth. Well, just like they said, there's no smoke without fire.
That's right. That's right. You know, something else that I want to bring to point, and that is, I heard a ammunition expert the other day, and he said something I thought was also pivotal, in that if somebody had a long gun or rifle from that distance that he was at, with the type of bullet that he had, that body would have exploded. It would have left a hole so gaping wide that you could look through it.
Absolutely, Linda. I mean, what you're saying makes perfect sense. My problem with all of this is this. We went through a very traumatic experience. We went through trauma right now with thousands of people, weak people, that were just getting this platform for themselves to start asking questions, to start giving their opinions. Stop being afraid of that conversation. Now we just shut it down again. And not only did we shoot it down by this happening, all these things that people are saying, I appreciate it, but make sure you connect your dots. Make sure your T's are crossed, make sure your I's are dotted. Don't just put things out there, because not everyone is able or has the ability to handle certain information in a calm, sensitive, and sensible part of their ability to even absorb that kind of information.
Let me add to that, you know, in a lot of respects, you have to yield to the experts when they know, whether it's an ammo expert or a gun expert or just an investigative expert, you know. And even with my experience, I yield to the FBI, number one, because they have the autopsy information. They know the entry and exit wounds. They know all the particulars that we don't, because it's not being released to us.
I agree with you, Linda, but there's a whole nother side of this that people are not considering. That side that we don't consider is this. We have had years, tens of years at least, with the media playing with people's minds, bodies, and souls. Being told what information to put out there. People are just now with this administration, and I'm saying with this and in this administration, are doing something new that is not familiar to people. And that's putting the truth out there, just like the people want it. Put it out there right away like it is. And I agree with that, because that's the truth. Whether you know, whether you don't know, whether you're speculating on something, say, we are considering this, we're speculating on that, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, we're looking into this.
Basically even telling us, we're even considering conspiracy theories.
They do.
They take responsibility, which I am proud of, and I admire, and I respect. But we, as the people, now have to take that responsibility too, because if we want this to go on with this kind of truth, let's not waste the authorities' time with bullshit information that you have not verified, that you would want them to spend our tax dollars, our time, their time, and their skills on.
That's
We are creating a monster.
Yeah.
And that monster that we talk about that's sitting in jail now, that made that shot, I still am not convinced that he killed Kirk. Linda, you say 5 years to train. He would be 17. Out of those 5 years, what was the training like? Did you go in once a week? Did you go in one? What?
No, I did this every single day. You know, when I'm certified by the state of Florida to instruct, as an instructor, I'm instructing students every single day that we're on the range. So we do the classroom for a little bit and then we go on the range. Physically on the range, putting it together, shooting, going through the breakdown, cleaning the weapons.
So it's every day.
Every
You're
single
going through
day
that
for
exercise.
5 years.
Every day for 5 years.
That was my career. That's what I did.
So Linda, let me ask you a question. Common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 5 years, every day in that intensive training, you're an adult. You're not 22. You're not 17. You were an adult then. Did you have time to sit with furry babies, furry classes, play Monopoly? Can you imagine the mindset?
Well, the mindset for me was intense.
Okay.
It was intense because just as a woman, I had to show that I could perform.
Okay, but knowing what you went through, could you do all of the above with your mind being on furry classes, on transgender studies, on hating someone, and no?
No, I don't feel that I could, but I want to break it down even further. For the students, which was officers, correction officers, and street officers, they were going to the class once a year. They were going to the class once a year because they had to maintain their certification. But I was in that class every single day doing what I was doing. It was so intense. It builds up on you. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be on point. Not 1 day, 2 days. You got to be on point every single day.
And one more point I'm gonna make. You being a cop, you having held that weapon and shot it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we even went into conversation about 3 officers executing somebody. Now, hold that thought, because I don't think you're expecting what I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
This 22-year-old boy that still plays on these games and talking to bots and playing with furry babies he goes, commits a mass murder with this kind of amazing shot, and then he goes to get ice cream and he's all good. Is that the kind of a mindset of this kind of killing?
I don't think it is. In my professional opinion, you got to have a killer instinct and a killer mindset, honestly. You know, and I had to develop that when I go after my target because, number one, I want to be 100% effective. And I want to make sure that I hit the right spot. So if I do 1 in the head, 2 in the body, I got to perform that. So having that mindset, I don't see it. I really don't, in my professional opinion.
So my my personal opinion, Linda, we should all start to back off of the FBI, of the investigations. Appreciate the fact that we're getting news as it comes in. We're getting updates as it comes in. I'm not saying don't put anything out there. But before you do, make sure it's factual information you're putting out there. We have enough of radicalizing each other, of getting each other riled up and sending misinformation to sources that are just wasting time. These are people's lives. We have thousands right now. I said to you, Linda, I think, after this funeral that we witnessed, Charlie Kirk's funeral, we saw another at least 100,000 people with PTSD, from the smallest form of it to the largest form. If we ever needed something like Queen for Courage, this is now. This is now because it's so detrimental to our future. it can make us outrageous.
I agree with that. Now is the time. But just looking back, it's been so intense with everything that we've been going through. It's time to reset.
Yeah.
It's time to really just kind of reset and take a step back. As you say, breathe. Just connect with nature, if you will. That reset is so important, and allow the FBI to do what they do.
Absolutely.
They do it best. They've been doing it for some time. And when they get ready to share that information, we'll have as much information that's accurate and factual as we can. Just notice, they've gone through 16,000 digital formats of information and or evidence.
Which means, Linda, out of that 16,000 was the information that was worth looking
They
at.
had to filter through it.
Now, they probably had twice as much at least
Well,
of
they had
that came in.
Well, they had over 4,000 calls that they had to sort through.
There you go.
So they're inundated with a lot of information.
Make sure when you do what you do, just consider the fact that you want to be the one providing the right information, being the true source. It's very important for people that are not up to date with this on a daily basis. Watch shows like ours. Watch Nancy Grace. There's a ton of shows right now, people talking about it. It's very important that you do not watch the shows where people are freaking out, saying things, spewing things, and just getting the crowd more energized for war. This is not warfare. We need peace in our lives. We need unity. We need to come together and become the united nation we are. So we look forward to having you on our next shows, and have a great weekend.
Visit us on www.xpo20.com.
Awakens and opens the world in colors. Each ray is a hug, a promise, and life dances to the sound of the winds. Beautiful life, how beautiful you are. Woven into threads of hope and stars. Every day is a gift, every day is a gift. To paint with love and laughter.